He's Adam Thielen, the Vikings wide receiver, as we catch up with him, and he joins us now. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Just got a little conditioning in me before I got on the show, so feeling good.
All right. I'm looking at what you guys did, the Vikings did, your 2020 playoff teams. 1-1 versus the Packers, 1-1 versus the Bears, lost to the Colts, lost to the Titans, lost to the Seahawks, lost to the Bucks, lost to the Saints. So 2-7 there. Best team that you faced this year is who?
That's a great question. Probably the Bucks. Just the way that they were able to play defense, get after us, get after the passer. They got guys at every level on defense, and then the way that they're able to spread the ball around on offense and the weapons they have on offense is pretty impressive.
Okay, give me that defense though. Tampa's defense, how impressive?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just starts with their front seven. I mean, the way that they're able to get after the passer, the way that they're able to stop the run, fly around. I mean, obviously we have a pretty good run game in Minnesota, and man, they're just able to fly around, and then in the back end, there are no slouches there. So I think there's a few of those teams. I mean, you look at the Colts, very similar. You look at the Packers, very similar. I think those playoff teams that have a chance to go a long ways, they have guys that can get after the passer, and they have guys in the back end that can cover. So it's a good formula.
Can you root for the Packers or Bears? Do you because they're in your division? Like, do you want them to do well because they're in your division, or do you have to root against them?
I don't necessarily root for or against, to be honest. I just love watching playoff football. So I just love watching, kind of evaluating, and just watching close games. So I'm just hoping for some good football. I think there's going to be some great games, especially tomorrow and Sunday. So it should be fun to watch.
Yeah, but let's say the game is hanging in the balance. The Bears have a chance to win with a game-winning field goal, and you could swipe it one way or another. The Bears beat the Saints or they lose in dramatic fashion. What would you do?
I'd rather have the Bears win.
You would?
Yeah. Over the Saints, yeah.
But they're in your division.
I know. But it is what it is.
But you guys have had issues with the Saints before. So and vice versa too. But
right.
Do you hate the Packers? Like, are you programmed? You grew up a Vikings fan. Are you programmed to hate the Packers?
I mean, let's just put it this way. There's not another team I like beating more than the Packers. So but it goes both ways, right? Like, there's nothing worse than losing to the Packers. So, and they've had our number as of late. So, but yeah, there's nothing better than beating the Packers, especially at Lambeau.
But does it get chippy? Is it different?
They, I wouldn't say it gets chippy with them. I think they're pretty, I got a lot of friends on that team. I think a lot of those guys are they're good football players and they're good people. So I really enjoy playing against teams that have, respect for one another. Now, at the end of the day, yeah, you want to beat them and you want to beat them bad. But still, it's nice to have, mutual respect and go out there and play a clean football game. So I enjoy that. And probably why I'm not going to necessarily root against any of those teams.
Have you ever had any interesting conversations that continue throughout the game with a defensive back?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, interesting. Guys, or like, does it get, really trash talk, or is somebody actually can carry on a conversation with you?
Oh, I think there's a little bit of both. Depends on who you're playing. Some guys, I'm not going to go into names, but some guys are a little weird with the way they talk, like, complimenting, asking how the family's doing, like almost like overly nice. So that's kind of weird. And
so
then
it's
you got the other end where it's
faux compliments, like it's not real.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you don't really know, right? It's kind of like a little bit of like over the top and a little bit of maybe, but it's just kind of a weird like head game maybe that they're trying to play. And then you got the other side where it's like way over the top the other way, like, saying that I'm going to punch you in the face if you say a word. Which gets a little weird. Like, you're going to punch me in the face with a helmet on. It's a little weird.
Wait. What warrants getting punched in the face, or somebody just say that to you?
That's a great question. That's why I think it's weird and it's a little over the top. But
do they start the game by saying, Thielen, I want to punch you in the face today.
Yeah, plays over and because I like to talk a little bit on the field, have fun with it. And I looked at the guy and I'm like, why are you talking right now? Like he was talking smack to another teammate. And he looked at me and said, "Say a word and I'll punch you in the face." So I'm like, all right, man. Like I got a helmet on. Like it punched me. That's fine.
You start to look at the Vikings growing up, and it was right in your wheelhouse with Moss and Chris Carter. Have you talked to them about being a wide receiver? What goes into it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. I've been able to talk to them both, have pretty good conversations with them, just talking football. I did an interview with Randy Moss a few years back, and he didn't even necessarily want to do the interview. He just wanted to talk ball, which I thought was fun and cool. And he was teaching me about some of the things that he did to help him in his routes and things like that. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Do you fanboy at all? Do you ask for jerseys? Like when you face the Saints or Brady with the Buccaneers, Aaron Rodgers, would you ask for a jersey from any of those guys?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting deal. I like to do it, guys that I get to know, play against a lot, maybe get to know off the field for sure. I need to ask some of those guys for their jerseys because I've got to know a few of them. But yeah, if I don't really know them, it's kind of awkward. And I'm sure Brady and Rodgers and those guys, I mean, they probably get asked by 15 people every game for their jerseys. So I try to avoid that. But hopefully if you build a relationship with them off the field and maybe we'll get one day. But yeah, it's just kind of a weird deal when you're talking to guys like that.
Well, also you need to have the clubhouse guy go over and ask because you can't ask because you don't want to be told no. So you'd rather the clubhouse guy went over and asked for Aaron Rodgers. Would you put up Aaron Rodgers' jersey?
I would, yeah. Aaron and I have got to have a pretty good relationship, so definitely would because of our off the field relationship. He loves to play golf. I love to play golf, so we played a lot together in Lake Tahoe at the tournament there, and got to know him pretty well. He knows my family and all that, so definitely would put his up.
Packers, Saints, Buccaneers, who makes the Super Bowl in the NFC?
Well, that's a tough one. I think it's between the Saints, or not the Saints, the Buccaneers and Packers. If I were a betting man, that's who I would bet on. Between those two, I don't really know. I mean, obviously the first meeting wasn't great between them for the Packers, obviously, but I would have to imagine. Going to Lambeau, if those two played each other, that'd be a lot better game. So we'll see.
Which defense would you rather face, Buccaneers or the Packers?
I would rather face the Packers because we were able to run the ball pretty well against them in the second meeting. But they're both very similar, to be honest. There's not much difference between the two. Both are top defenses in the NFL.
How many minivans does Kirk Cousins have?
He has one van, but then the rest of his cars are basically vans, but they're not vans. So
he just strikes me as he's a minivan guy.
He's not a minivan guy. He's more of like the Astro van with like the creepy curtains. But yeah, he's an interesting guy. It's unbelievable. He loves cars, but will not spend the money on buying a car. So he tries to get the best deals. I think he has a deal back home with like a Toyota dealership or something. Or no, I think it's a Honda dealership. So I think he does have a van back home from the Honda dealership.
Hey, it's great to talk to you. Congratulations on the season there, Adam. We appreciate your time.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks.
That's Adam Thielen of the Vikings.